Welcome everybody to another edition of Monday Afternoon Roundtable. We're going to have a good episode today. I got a good friend of mine. A guest today is Bradley Towery. Bradley owns Daily Defense. Um, Bradley, tell us a little bit about yourself, how you got into the business, and tell us about your business, what you do.
Well, I've been doing gun stuff, I call it, as long as I was able to, age wise. I've always had a passion for it and everything. And working in retail for a long time, I just decided to go my own way. And guns was the way to do it. Something you enjoy, something you want to do. So me and a good friend of mine, we started this gun store up, and we struggled for a little bit. Happened right there in COVID when it come about. But that gave me time to get everything going and started, and so now we're up into got a small storefront there. Barbecue King, Salon Sage. I'm kind of hard to find, some people say, but it's just the name says it. Daily defense. I feel like in the last few years we are all defending ourselves daily in one way or another. So yeah, that's and my other little business. I'm gonna mention it while I'm there. I do laser engraving. I do custom stuff, gifts, things like that. But I started with the gun thing too. I custom
Mm-hmm.
engrave pistol slides, rifles, things like that. If you do NFA stuff, I can serialize NFA items, things like that.
Now,
With
what's
a
NFA? What is that?
NFA is National Firearms Act.
Okay.
Whenever you build your own suppressor or you
Mm,
build your own SBR or something like that, then that's where you have to serialize it with your
gotcha.
name, address, things like that. And some people use a Dremel tool. I make it look a little more professional
Mm-hmm.
and get it done.
And you could even, like our logo back here, you
Oh,
could do something like similar to that,
yeah,
or any.
absolutely. If you wanted this logo, I can take it and transfer it and put it on, just
And you just don't do engraving on guns; you do it on other things.
oh yeah, like I had a table yesterday that meant the wife helps me do crafts. Keychains, just anything personalized. I make my mom and my sister, gifts all the time, and it's personalized. It's one of a kind
Mm,
gifts, and
that's true.
and I do it out of my gun shop. So you have to call me there, and then we'll set up something or come by and talk to me.
And a lot of the importance I want to talk to you about today with your gun store, you do all types of guns, but your main focus is daily defense, which is
Exactly.
personal defense, home defense, things like that. And then that kind of works with what we do here in our concealed carry classes. And I always get a lot of questions about, well, what's the best gun to carry concealed, or what's the best gun for a new shooter, or what's the best gun for this and that. And I always tell them it's like buying a car. You want to test drive it. So I tell them to try out as many guns as they can. Um, would you say the majority of the firearms you sell are defensive,
Yeah,
at home defense, or
absolutely.
concealed carry?
I get your customers that come in and wanting a 6-inch barrel 357. Everybody
Hmm.
wants one of those, but that's not concealable.
No, it's a fun gun to
Yeah,
have, but
oh
it's
yeah,
but it's not a daily
definitely fun to
carry.
have.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mostly target concealed carry. But
Hmm.
now I accept orders. I do transfers. So if you see something online, just you can have it sent to me. If I'm not on their mail to ship to list, I can be on it very easy. Just let me know. But yeah, just smaller handguns is
Mm.
what everybody's looking for.
Yeah, or
And
home
home defense,
defense.
exactly.
Yeah.
Some kind of when I say short shotgun, an 18-inch home defense type shotgun, because a lot of people's comfortable with that. They feel like it would work. The sound of racking the slide
Hmm.
scares people and things like that. And they are simple to use, and so
Yeah, and a shotgun, you don't have to be a perfect shot
yeah. No,
to make
no,
to stop shot.
you're right. You're right.
Um, with your FFL, are you allowed to build or
Ab-
customize things?
Absolutely. I am a top 7 manufacturer, meaning I can build custom rifles, modify stuff. When I say modify, I mean change out hand guards,
Mm,
add accessories like extended mag releases, things like that, dust covers. I can modify that way. And then handgun wise, but being a manufacturer, I do help people with these 80% builds and
mm.
stuff. They put them together and they need me to troubleshoot or something. So yeah.
And I try to tell people when they're looking for the best handgun, like for instance, I prefer a mid-size model or a smaller model 9 millimeter. That's just my personal choice.
Mm-hmm.
I've shot and qualified with 9 millimeter, 38 special, 357, 40 caliber, 45, all those. And the larger rounds, I've got smaller hands for a man. I've got tiny hands. I mean, it's just the way it is.
And my hands aren't big either.
So, like a 45 or a large caliber, I can shoot them. I can do fine with, but it's harder for me to keep. Uh, I can I can keep under control with a 9 millimeter. I feel more comfortable shooting something I'm comfortable with. Now, I can shoot a 45 proficiently, but a 9 millimeter I just feel more comfortable
Well,
with.
that's it. And I tell people this all the time when they ask me that. What caliber? 45, 9 millimeter, 380. I tell my answer is, and this is my opinion, it's whatever you are confident in, whatever you're comfortable with, whatever you feel you can conceal the best. It doesn't matter. I mean, it does matter, but it doesn't matter. It's whatever. If you're more comfortable shooting a 380,
Yeah.
then by all means, you're going to feel good about carrying that gun. You're going to feel like, you're going to trust it. If you feel comfortable with a 45, then so be it. But shoot it and be comfortable with what you're going to carry, and that just makes the big difference.
Yeah, and a lot of with a lot of gun manufacturers, they have really worked hard in the last 15, 20 years
Oh yeah.
where to make a concealed carry handgun. They've went where it used to just be all 9 millimeter or 380 or 38. They're making the larger caliber, a smaller frame now, where you can carry a 45 and it's comfortable. It's not a bulky.
No, well, it's not. But what you're going to find is, and I hear this a lot, the 45. I'm going to give example. Springfield XDS, very concealable. You got the firepower there, but it's a handful. I mean, I had an older gentleman a while back. He bought one with the RMR dot on it, and it was super awesome. And he was so excited, but it was just too much for him.
Yep.
And he come and traded it for actually 32. I bred a 32 Tomcat that I had because he could handle it better. He's more confident, with his carry. Other than that big gun, he said he just couldn't handle recoil, and that's something to consider too. Because for another example, a guy come by and he owns a business, and under his counter he was wanting to put a handgun for the ladies that worked there, and he bought one of the Ruger LCPs, which are awesome little guns. They're in pockets everywhere, but the young ladies didn't like it. Yeah. It was too much. Even the 380, it was just small. So he went up to a little bit larger 9 millimeter, and they could control it better.
Yep.
Even though it's a more hotter round, I guess you could say, they can control it better.
Yep.
And they could shoot it. So.
And I've told students that before too, that if you do get a smaller frame, it's going to have more recoil because it doesn't have enough weight. So. And that surprises you. Tell them that they have to shoot it to see that.
Exactly.
They go, oh my goodness, Whereas a heavier weapon, it doesn't recoil as much, but it's more bulkier. So you kind of got to find a medium.
Find that medium. And two, I tell people, and I know you do too, if you got the opportunity and got friends that have guns that'll let you shoot them, try a couple ones out before you go buy. You wind up losing money, and you kind of get an idea of what you might like. So yeah. So guns aren't cheaper anymore.
No, the good thing about guns though is they hold their value pretty well.
Yeah, this day and time, concealed carry weapons they hold their value.
Let's talk about revolvers. A lot of people overlook revolvers and think, that's just the old timey. But a revolver is a very durable and very reliable and very. I like them.
Yeah, I do too. I bought one just the other day from a guy, an older Model 10, Smith & Wesson, and I don't carry it, but I'm just saying they are one reliable piece of equipment. And if you ask anybody, a lot of first-time buyers, they come in, ladies and older gentlemen, even people younger with little arthritis and stuff. They can't rack slides on pistols. They can't. And I've got some dummy rounds that I'll load up, and I'll have them to chamber one. And then I'll make it jam. And if you're in a situation and you can barely rack the slide, then clearing a jam, it's going to be tough. So revolvers are a very big plus. They're making them lightweight now.
Yeah.
38 Special got it done for a lot of years. So don't count it out as being a and it's in bad round. So
Yeah.
they're good.
A 38 special, or as for a backup or a concealed carry, is a great gun.
Oh yeah.
I got my father-in-law's got a 357 Ruger. It's probably 45 years old, and it's probably the most accurate handgun I've ever shot in my life.
They're really good.
I mean,
I think everybody looks over them because they want this newer automatic
mm-hmm.
pistols, and I get it, but I've proven to some with my little dummy test that sometimes semi-automatics is not for them. Ladies with fingernails.
Yep.
I mean things like that, and I had one lady, and I'm nothing against it, but it's just she couldn't. She wanted a 9mm, but she just couldn't work the slide.
Mm-hmm.
And when I give her the jam situation, it really put her. But when I handed her a revolver that I had in the cabinet and showed her how it was easy to open, easy to load, easy to she really liked it. So I felt good about she was buying something that she felt more comfortable with using. So.
Oh yeah, and it's just individual preference. It's like I always say, it's like Coke and Pepsi.
Mm-hmm.
You can pick one or the other. You can like both, or an automatic transmission or a manual transmission. You don't have to be one guy or the other. You can go. You can have both, or you can say, I just want to go with semi-automatic, or I just want to go with revolver. There's nothing wrong with that.
Nope.
And that's the good thing with your background and knowledge, especially with the concealed carry handguns. You're not just the guy at and I'm not putting down Academy or Dix or any of the big, but some of those guys are really good, and some are just they don't have the background on. They just know what's on the sticker price.
I'll tell you, I've carried a gun legally since they passed the law in, I believe it was 1996.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a Foot Locker full of holsters I've tried.
Holsters are another whole topic. Yeah.
I've tried some very expensive holsters that was supposed to be comfortable that was just a pain in the rear to even put it on. I've tried the simplest little clipless, it tuck in the waistband, and I'll tell you, I got one that I use now that I have found that works really good for me. But yeah, I've done it a long time, and I've tried a lot of different ways. And not that I'm an expert, but that's just, I sum it up by saying whatever is comfortable. Because if it's hard for you to put on and carry, you ain't going to carry it.
You're right.
If it's hard, if you can't just put it in your pocket or something, you're not going to carry it. So.
And when I was in my 20s and much slimmer than I am now, I would wear in the waistband holsters. And I've got a couple still left, but I don't wear them for an extended period of time because I got love handles and it's not comfortable. And I always tell students, as far as holsters, we'll get back to guns in a minute, but as far as holsters
are a different topic.
Yeah, we could talk all day on that. But I always tell them, avoid the $5 flea market one-size-fits-all holster, but you don't have to spend a ton of money to get a good one. You can get a super-duper quality holster for $35, $40, $50.
I think I got the one that I carry, and it cost me about $50, but I'm telling you, it's great.
Yeah, it's worth. Yeah.
If I can say it, I'm not a brand specific anybody, but it's made by Crossfire holsters as far as I know, Bass Pro or. Is it Bass Pro now, or is it went to Cabela's or something?
I know they were going to.
They stock them.
Yeah.
But, and you can go put your hands on one. But I really like the holster. But it's all up to you. There's different people carry different ways.
Now with your gun store, do you accept trade-ins? Do you do bartering type?
Yeah, sure.
Somebody brings in.
That's one thing that I've done in this period of my life was all the time trading, trading, and so I just made it where I do it regularly now. I used to, you'd just meet somebody, well, I got this shotgun, let's do some trade. But no, now, if you've got a gun that you don't like anymore and you want a different brand or a different style, come see me. We can work out something.
Mm-hmm. With recently, they've changed the law in North Carolina where you don't have to get a purchase permit. You just fill out the same paperwork that you do for a rifle or shotgun.
You come out and fill out the 4473 with a valid ID, and we'll run the background right there on the spot, and it happens pretty
So people can purchase a handgun that day now.
Yep.
Has that increased business or stayed the same?
Way, yeah.
Really?
It just cut out the whole. A lot of people wanted a handgun to defend themselves. themselves, but the process was kind of lengthy. I mean, you had to take time to go to the sheriff's department, and then you fill out their paperwork and everything, and then you waited. Sometimes back a couple of years ago, it was months, before you got a permit, and it wasn't the sheriff's department's fault, but it's
Oh
just,
yeah, it's just a,
it's just the way things are, and it was a process. Then you had to take time to go pick it up, and then you had to pay for them.
Yeah.
$5 a permit is, it don't sound like a lot, but when you can come do it now for,
oh yeah,
it makes a difference. So.
and I'm guilty of being an impulse buyer with, they say women are more impulse buyers, but if I go to a gun store, or I intentionally avoid going to gun stores unless I need something, or gun shows. I don't ever go to the gun show anymore.
I don't anymore. I used to work gun shows a lot, and I just
because I would go in there and I would say, all right, I'm not going to buy anything. I'm just going to look.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't have cash, and then next thing you know, I'd be going to the ATM machine.
Yep.
But a lot of people are going to see something they want and they're going to buy it right then. And I used to be really into the gun trading, gun buying, and I've slowed down a lot in the last 20 years. I've figured out what I like, and I try to stay, but now there's something new coming out all the time, and I want to get one of those short 18-inch barrel shotguns, and I miss some of the guns and rifles and shotguns that I used to have.
I get that a lot.
I regret,
I sell a lot of older stuff because my grandpa had one of these.
Yeah.
I lost one of these in a fire. Or, that's what I like about this job and dealing with people, because I enjoy it.
Yeah.
The whole feeling the needs of people that's collectors or something. It's really fun.
And there's a lot of collectors out there that they might shoot for fun and shoot and carry conceal, but a lot of people collect guns that they buy and just have.
Mm-hmm.
So it might be like from family heirlooms or family, my dad had a Smith & Wesson, or my dad or my grandpa did, or whatever. So they like to get things like that.
Mm-hmm.
What is your most popular sellers of different things, do you think?
Honestly, probably, like I said, I'm gonna mention the name Ruger LCP.
Mm-hmm. And we get a lot of those in the classes.
They are probably one of the most popular small handguns there is. But like I said, they're not for everybody.
They're not.
People, they Smith & Wesson makes the easy models, which is easy to rack the slides, easy to load the magazines. They're a little bit bigger, but that little bit bigger kind of
adds
to the controllability of the pistol. And there's safeties on them. You can get them with some thumb safety, without. They've got the grip safety, and they're really good carry guns. But probably the most popular is the LCP.
And both of those guns that you mentioned, the Ruger and the Smith & Wesson, they're pretty affordable. They're in the mid-range.
They're all right there together. The SIG P365, the Smith & Wesson Shield, all of them are very comparable. I mean, even in quality. They're right on point with technology today. Those guns, I'm not going to say one's better than the others. I'm not here to do that. It's just look at them and see, and they're all very, very comparable. I get asked all the time, which one feels better in your hand? Which one do you like more? Are you brand savvy? Or you like SIG better than Glock or whatever? It's just up to you, because they're all pretty good.
And all the brands you mentioned, plus more, they'll honor their products. Like, for instance, if you get a dud, occasionally you get lemons, but if you get one that's not working correctly, you notify the manufacturer, they'll send you a new one.
They'll take care of it.
Yeah, all the brands do go, and that happens every now and then. It happens a lot less than people think, but when they do get something that's not correct, the manufacturers always honor them.
Oh, yeah, because think about it. If you was a manufacturer and you made a gun that don't work, that's just a lawsuit waiting to happen. So they're going to take care of you. I mean, they really are. I've never had any issues with any of them sending something back and them not making it right.
Yeah.
I mean, they're...
even the rifles, shotguns, things, all that. Yeah. They honor their products. Do you foresee, I think in North Carolina, we're eventually going to get where we're going to go to constitutional carry. Yeah, I think that's coming. And and people think, they always say, well, that's going to hurt your business teaching concealed carry class. And I said, well, it is, but it's not. I think we can go from teaching concealed carry classes to gun awareness classes. You know, familiar. You will do beginner, intermediate, and advanced.
Exactly.
But and I think it's going to increase gun sales as well, which you wouldn't think it would, but I think it will.
Oh, it will. And I had this conversation with a customer the other day, and that's what he said. He said, you know, it's going to be great that you can carry a pistol without this paying these fees and stuff like that. And that's true. But two, I really think that they need to take some kind of class, or you know, just to learn the laws.
I do too.
I mean, you know, there's laws behind carrying concealed, and you teach them, and I know them. It's in certain places maybe, or the situations where you can legally defend yourself instead of So a class, if you are a new concealed carry, absolutely, and I've even took a refresher course.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you know, like I said, I've had it since '96,
and some things have changed.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been several years ago, but I talked to an instructor that I know, and I was like, and some things changed. Like, I said, what was one? Carrying in restaurants if they served alcohol. At one point, you couldn't eat there.
Yeah.
But they changed it
as long as you're not consuming.
Exactly. You know, so that's things that you need to know when you are going to carry it concealed, because you don't want to go into it completely ignorant. And ignorant's not bad. It's just you
don't know.
A class would be good for a new time, yeah.
And that's our plan, is to basically teach the same class, even if you don't need it to be, but as a basic handgun carrier. You know, even though you can constitutional carry, you still can't carry here. You can't, you don't need to do this. You can't do that. Yeah. We're not going to change the course that much.
Yeah.
Trying to think of something else to ask you. What is great is you get to go to work and sell and help people learn about something you're really passionate about. Yeah. So that makes it a real good day to go to work. And I hate that you didn't bring your sidekick. Tell us about your sidekick, your watchdog you got at the office.
Oh my God, listen, y'all, she's a mess. She makes me smile every day, and it's funny that sometimes, and believe it or not, she's barked at a few people.
Yeah.
And she don't do that unless I trust my dogs.
Oh yeah, dogs are very smart.
And not that I looked at these people and like you're a bad guy. It's just say something about them. She barks at. But yeah, she's with me about every day. If she's not, she's home with mom. But all over, and she's the watchdog. It tickles people to see people that looks like me with this little dog. But listen, I don't care, because but yeah, come see me in Abbey.
And let's talk about where you're located. You're right out in the Boger City area of Lincolnton. You go to the stoplight there at Buffalo Shoals, turn left at Barbecue King. Just go past Barbecue King. They'll see the sign that says Daily Defense on the right. You pull in there, and you're in a little, I wouldn't say strip mall, but it's a little retail building where you share it with a...
Yeah, salon. I say, when I tell people I'm in the same parking lot with Barbecue King, even before I moved there, I didn't realize those buildings was back there, because I just didn't go that way on Buffalo Shoals Road. And I'm hidden kind of the way the building's angled. Even if I put a big sign on the front of my building up above my door, I think it with the trees and stuff, it'd be hard to see. But I got some feather flags out front and a sign, and then a chain link fence behind the tire shop. I've got guns and ammo sign. But when you get in that parking lot and you see the big green Salon Sage sign, then I'm right there with them. I got an American flag hanging out outside my door. Kind of, I hear it every day. You're hard to find, but it's, just have to kind of look back there.
Yeah. What is the exact address?
It's 158 Buffalo Shoals Road.
Okay.
That is the address.
What days are there? What days
I'm there Monday through Friday from 9 to 5. And if 5's no big deal, I'm not one of them. I mean, I like to go home like everybody else and eat supper with the wife. But if you need something, I'm on my way. I don't get off till 5. Give me a call. Just say, can you hang out a few minutes? I'll be more than glad to, because I know it's hard for me to do that. It's just, and I'll give you my reason. I know, but you work all your life to get a weekend off. Or, some places I did, working in retail, it's either you had to use vacation or something. Well, I got my own place now, so I do things I want to do on the weekends. But I do try to help people, if they want to come. Even that Saturday, if you get a gun transferred to me and that's the only day you can come, call me. I mean, I'll meet you there. It's no big deal. So.
Yep. A couple other things before we wrap up. Do you help? if a new shooter comes, and I always offer this service too. If they're not familiar with how to break the weapon down and clean it, and and some, I will say this, some handguns are very easy to break down and field strip, and some are not.
Some are not. You're right. And I do. It is good. I'm gonna throw this in. I do a cleaning.
Mm-hmm.
I clean a lot of guns, and it's embarrassed me one day that I pulled out my own concealed carry weapon and it was full of pocket lint.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and I've had people bring guns to me, their handguns that they carry. Well, it won't even chamber around.
Mm-hmm.
Well, listen, he's had it in his pocket forever, and it just your pocket sucks the oil out of you guys, and stuff like that. So yeah, I'll teach people how to break them down, knock the dust out of them, stuff. And some are very hard to do, but I do offer a clean. I use a ultrasonic cleaner service, so it really does a good job.
Yeah,
it strips everything, and then I put new back on it. Just makes it. A lady brought me her. It was a Kel-Tec P32 the other day, and she said, it's getting hard to rack the slide, but after I sonic cleaned it and oiled it back up, she's like, wow, I didn't realize it. So, and she had been shooting this little pistol. It was really dirty. And I think that's cool that
she's active with it.
She's active with it, absolutely.
Let's say they're not so much active with the handgun, and they do carry it, but they don't practice with it as much, because a lot of people don't. They should, but a lot of people don't.
Well, the cost of ammo these days carries a lot of practice.
Should they have it cleaned once a year, once every 6 months, twice, whatever?
Well, if you think about it, I mean, I oil, say, an AR-15 and stand it in the corner. I put it in the safe. Go in there, that oil's ran out. Mm-hmm. I mean, when I say ran out, it comes out of the cracks. It comes out.
Gravity.
You got a handgun that you carry. Really, any type of material will draw oil out of your gun. And it's not to keep them sloppy oily. You just need to, every now and then, replace the oil and make them, functional. So, especially older guns. That's just been hanging on the wall for years. The oil that's there actually collects dust, and it turns gummy.
Yeah, it coagulates like blood. So, that's what you think about it.
But really, if you're uncomfortable cleaning your gun, just drop it by, and I'll clean it, oil it, and knock the dust out of it, because it does accumulate. When I took the slide off my personal, I'm trying to sell this to a guy. And I bring the slide off of my concealed carry weapon, and really it was full of dust.
I'm guilty of the same. I'm guilty of the same.
And I said, "Look at me! I'm standing here trying to sell you something, and I'm guilty of what I'm trying to say." So yeah, I blew mine out for a little more regular now after that.
Let's talk about daily carry ammo versus practice ammo. Do you go over that? I do that in the class,
and I hear that a lot. That's what people say, because there's a price difference.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, where you're paying, I'm going to give an example, $18 for 50 rounds of full metal jacket practice ammo, compared to $25 for 20 rounds of self-defense. And I don't know. I feel that at the end of the day, it's all self-defense.
Yeah.
It's
reliability.
And sometimes full metal jackets will maybe go further than you want them to go, things like that. But yeah, and when I say practice, when you say practice, it's really good, I think, to shoot something comparable to the weight of bullet that you're carrying. So you've got 147 grain 9mm self-protection load, and you're shooting 115 grain practice load. There's difference in recoil. I promise you. You can ask my son this, because I load a lot of 147 grain. It seems to cycle better. I'm not saying go trade in your 115 grain that you got now. I'm just saying if you'll shoot it, you'll notice a difference in the recoil. And the 147 grain, a heavier grain bullet, it makes your slide maybe work a little better.
Less malfunction.
And, weight in situations like that helps in maybe stopping what you need to stop.
I'm going to ask you this, and you may not answer. Some people get real personal with this, and some don't. What do you carry every day?
I carry a Glock 43X.
Okay.
Now, I've carried over the years.
Now, that's the baby...
Well, it's the one above the 40. They make a 42, which is a really small 380. The 43 is a single stack 9mm that's a little bit bigger, but the 43X, and I'm not trying to sell it. It's just it's right there with the LCP, because it's got just a little bit longer grip. it's more, and also the capacity. There's some aftermarket magazines that goes in it that raises that capacity way up above the rest, and I mean that's just what I carry, and it's I sell a lot of them. I got one on order right now for a guy, so it's a popular round. I didn't want to really go there, but it's just whatever you prefer.
Mm-hmm.
And
I got my wife probably 7 or 8 years ago a Glock 19.
Mm-hmm. Well, the 43X has got the grip size very close to that, but it's thinner.
She wanted a thinner, so I got her the 43, and then I took the 19. Now we traded.
Yeah.
I bought her a 40, and we just basically traded. So that's what my wife has got. So, and I like the 43.
I bought a 43 when they came out. It was before the X, and my son has it now. So
it's equivalent of almost wearing like when the cell phones you would wear on, or the. You remember when you had the holsters for cell phones?
Yeah.
That's basically what it feels like when you're wearing. I mean, it's not. Yeah. It's very light. It's comfortable.
But in saying that, I like Sig Sauers.
Sigs are great.
Like their metal guns. Not a big fan of their polymer guns, and that's just totally my opinion. But it's when you get to that size, the 365, the 43X, the shields. They're right there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's almost oranges to oranges, maybe oranges to tangerine.
Mm-hmm.
It's very close to. It's not, and then of course the apple is the revolver. But it's what you're looking for. So yeah, they're all. I mean, like I said, I really didn't want to go brand wise, but they're all right there.
Yeah,
they're on point. I mean,
and that's what I've seen. With the concealed carry classes, I will have people come into the class and they will have anywhere in between a Saturday night special throwdown that they probably bought $50 off somebody to a $2,500 beautiful Kimber that's supposed to, looks more like a trophy than or a competition gun. You get everything from one variant to the next and everything in between. And that's another good thing I like about teaching the classes is people will let me shoot their guns. So if there's a gun I haven't shot before, I'll be like, hey, you let me care if I shoot a couple of rounds?
And I'm going to throw this in here right quick, just caliber-wise. It was brought to my attention the other day, and you'd think I would know this, but 22. There's people come in hunting self-defense 22. Well, this guy come in the other day, and he bought his grandmother, a small, I think it was one of the LCP 22s. And it malfunctioned, and it wasn't the gun; it was the ammo. The ammo, and even a 25. This is when I say I just learned this. It just brought to my attention that a 25 centerfire. So even though it's a smaller bullet, you think it's really small, but you got less recoil, just like a 22, but you got the centerfire more reliable. So if you got a 22 they're great to practice with. I mean, you're out on the range. I shoot a lot of 22 here lately. I mean, just because the ammo, and I've got into 22 rifle target shooting. But anyway, it's just you'll find one that won't work. I mean, it's just the type of ammunition it is. So I don't very rarely do I recommend a 22 caliber for self-protection. I would rather see you with a 380 or even a 32 or a 25. Then that's just another thing.
We have more ammo-related malfunctions with 22s than any other.
And it's just this mass production of the little round, and it's they mess up. I mean, just the primer, and you might take that same round that didn't fire and put it right back in there at a different spot, and the primer will go off. But that was one of the things because she was having trouble even racking the slide, and when it malfunctioned, she said, "Well, what do I do now?" And that brought him, and he come and asked me, "Would I do some trading with him?" And so yeah.
And that's one last thing we're going to keep saying this.
No, you're fine.
Ammo. I always tell people, they shouldn't keep ammo more than a year, and that's probably I'm sure you can keep it longer.
Oh yeah, I've shot stuff from the 1930s.
Yeah,
but
it's
you
just
want something that
you know if you need it, it's going. So I always tell people cycle through your ammo once a year. Plus, that gives you. What I always do, when I do mine, I'm like, well, I got 5 or 6 boxes. I can go, and we're going to really have some fun, I'll really practice, do some target shooting, and I might do some reload drills or some quick draw, different drills, which depending on their experience. But I don't like keeping ammo stockpiled a long time because I'm worried about reliability because you never know if you're going to get a dud batch, even though
Well,
it's, I mean, it just happens.
it does.
And you get what you pay for.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. And too, a lot of people believe, and I too believe, some almost all self-defense hollow points, is whatever you want to call them, are shaped a little different than others. Some might run better in your gun than others.
Mm-hmm.
You know, some of the bullet design, or maybe if it would be good if you could, and I know it costs, but run several through your gun just to make sure it's going to cycle.
Yeah.
Because not all, some guns don't need everything. Most of the small guns out there do these days, but some of them don't.
Yeah. And the key is practice, practice,
Yeah.
practice, practice, practice. And I tell new people, I say, remember the first time you drove a car, it was intimidating, you were nervous, but now you can drive a car and you don't. It's muscle memory, a lot of it. Turning your turn signal on, or braking as the car in front of you, or you're looking around, or whatever. Same thing happens with shooting. You get muscle memory on, and I tell them to practice the way you're carrying it. You don't want the first time if you're carrying concealed, you don't want it to be the first time you have to move your shirt tail up or whatever. Then it's, if you don't practice doing that,
it is a chore. I mean, just put a gun in your pocket don't solve all your problems.
No.
I mean, it's you need to practice it. And when I say be comfortable with it, be comfortable. And I wouldn't mind adding this, ladies. I mean, everybody wants one in their purse.
Then that's not a
Guess
good.
what? If they take your purse, they got your money and your gun.
Same thing with backpacks. I tell them the same thing.
I know with some people, the way they dress, they can't just carry it on their hip or whatever, and I get that. But consider if you wear a purse over your shoulder or something like that. Something if somebody grabs it, they're not going to just run with it, or you can't just lay it down somewhere. That's something. There's just tons of things to consider when you consider carrying a gun.
If at all possible, carry it on your person because you're touching it all the time. You're aware of it, whether even though you might. I carried a gun every day of my life for 21 years when I was a police officer. I don't carry a gun as much as I should or as I used to, but I still go back to the way I was trained, where it's on my body. I can feel it. I know where it's at.
And when you find the right holster, trust me, there's been times that I reach back and touch mine because I can't feel it.
Yeah.
But I've carried it a long time. And the way you feel when you start carrying, that's another thing. When I first started carrying, I'd go to Walmart and I'd look around and say, I got a gun. Well, when that went away, it just becomes natural that you carry a gun. But put it somewhere, if it's on you, it'd be better. And dress is a lot to dress to do. I mean, if you're out jogging or something in spandex, it's hard to conceal a gun, but you make it happen because you want to. That's a safety thing these days. I've sold several to ladies that jog and stuff, and they're worried about it. But just make it comfortable. I mean, because if it's comfortable, you'll carry it.
Yeah. All right. Go see if you got any gun issues or need a new gun or want to talk about purchasing a gun or of any kind. Go see Bradley here at Daily Defense in Boger City and Lincoln.
And I tell people every day, and I hear it about every day. I got a dumb question. Listen,
no.
Yeah. Like he said earlier, I'm very passionate about what I do, and you ask me a question, and I'll tell you this is my opinion, or I'll tell you what I've learned, and there is no dumb questions when it comes to firearms.
No, there's not.
I mean, how does this safety work? And I've had some what they consider dumb, but it wasn't. It was just I bought a new gun and didn't know how to make this work, and they gave me a call. And if I know, I'll tell you I know, and if I don't know, I'll try to direct you to somebody that does.
Yeah, and you got very good prices on stuff. I mean, like I said, I know. When I go in there, I'm always like, man,
I hear that a lot, and it's really tough competing with the world of the internet.
Yeah.
But I like what I do. I'm not in it to get rich. If I was a young guy, I'd be trying to get rich. But listen, I'm just here to help people and enjoy what I'm doing day to day. So.
And this is just me personally. I'm not against buying firearms over the internet, but I want to hold it in my hand before I buy it.
But you've held one.
Yeah.
And this place on the internet is, they've got a really good deal, better than me. And trust me, there's some deals out there that I can't touch. They're selling them under my dealer cost, but because they're big box. But please, feel free to ship it to me. I encourage it. I tell people that, and it surprises some people. They don't want to do transfers. They want to sell you But no, have it sent to the shop. I'll be more than glad to do transfers.
Do you do a lot of transfers?
Oh yeah. And two, it's supporting me by you doing that. When you come there, you might buy a box of ammo. I mean, like I said, I charge a $25 fee to do it, and it's supporting me, and I appreciate it. But don't hesitate to, and like I say, if you go to a website, especially like on Gunbroker, that's got a small pawn shop in Arizona that don't know me,
Yeah.
it's real easy to give them my contact information, and we can get together and make it happen. So,
Yeah. One last thing, I know I keep saying this, I keep things popping in my mind. Aftermarket additions to handguns, are you able to help people put those on guns? Like if
Well, I am, but I don't know if I recommend not carry guns.
Yeah.
I mean, now you bring me a when you want a red dot on
Yeah.
or something like that. Yeah, I can help you. But when it comes to trigger jobs and stuff on handguns, that's something I don't like to do. I mean, mine's not.
Yeah.
I mean, I put a high vis front sight on my pistol. That's it. I don't. But
I'm pretty basic on my stuff too.
I mean that particular my carry gun. It's just you hear stories that you don't know if it's true or not, but I do know it's true as to certain modifications could hurt you in court if you go to defend yourself against what you did. It would. They're ruthless. I mean you want to keep it simple. You want to keep the gun factory that way. It works. If it don't work, you can get it fixed. But modifications, the triggers and stuff is something that I don't. Other than you got a target pistol or an AR-15 that you want to binary trigger and stuff. Bring it by, because that's going to be your range gun. You have them protected even, but no, I do modifications. Some it's just, and I'll tell you if I don't want to do it, and or I'll send you somewhere that might do it, and I can't do everything, but yeah, that's just something to consider.
A lot of people I'm more basic because my mindset is, and this is just personal choice, the more you add to it, the more it can mess up.
Yeah.
Keep it basic, and that's less stuff you have to worry about learning and muscle memory, and it's just
some of these triggers and stuff that has these special springs and things like that. You're in the field or you're using it, and that goes wrong. You just can't go get one. I mean, you just can't make it work. Where your basic stuff, you get Glock parts. You can get Glock parts about anywhere. If you can't get them, somebody's got a spare Glock. They'll give you that spring out of. There's just so much to it, and you tell I think about stuff all the time. I overthink a lot, but it's just scenarios you learn over the years that I have to share.
Well, Bradley, I hope you come back again. We'll have you back on, but if you do come back, you got to bring your sidekick.
All right, I will. She went with her mom today to visit the mom's grandma. So
yeah.
That's
all.
I will, and I got to teach her to ride my motorcycle.
That might be a little. Yeah, you might have to get a little carry thing from you. Put her.
I think she would. She's not afraid of anything.
But go see Bradley if you need a gun.
Yeah, come on by and just say hey and talk one day. I'd appreciate it. I really would.
And your engraving needs as well.
Yeah.
Guys, this is our episode that we're not going to do a last call because, we're talking guns and we don't want to drink and carry guns at the same time. So we're going to skip the last call for today. But I hope you enjoy this episode, and we'll see you next week.
See y'all.